And this stuff here.
Did you know that the reality you live today is not truly real? Yes, I know it sounds crazy, but stop and think. What you feel as real is merely the expression of a vibration, a specific frequency to which you are tuned. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are, what you vibrate, and the life you live. And what if I told you that your bank account, your relationships, even your health, all of these respond to your mental and emotional frequency? Today I will reveal the truth behind the law of attraction, how it really works, and why most people remain frustrated even after watching The Secret. It's time to change that now. Have you ever noticed how sometimes it feels like your life is stuck? As if you are caught in a repeating cycle, an endless sequence of challenges, disappointments, and limitations. No matter what you do, change jobs, save money, study more, everything returns to the same point. I've been there too, and I discovered something that changed everything. I realized that we don't attract what we want, we attract who we are, and who we are is directly linked to what we vibrate. Everything in the universe vibrates, absolutely everything. Your body, the chair you are sitting on, the phone or computer you are using to listen to me now. Most importantly, your thoughts and emotions also vibrate. You live in a sea of movement, where everything is constantly changing. What you feel is energy, and this energy, this emotional frequency, is shaping your reality at this very moment. What does this mean in practice? It means that it's not your desire for money that attracts money. It's your inner state regarding money that determines what you will receive. You might say, I want abundance, but if inside you vibrate fear, doubt, scarcity, that is what you will keep attracting. How many times have you received unexpected money and soon after, it disappeared completely? Or how many times have you had a great opportunity in your hands but sabotaged it, as if something inside you said, you don't deserve this? This is not bad luck, this is vibration. And do you know the cruelest part? Most people live their entire lives without ever knowing they have the power to change this. For years, I believed my life would be limited. I was a firefighter, earning around $40,000 per year. That was what I thought I deserved. That was what my paradigm allowed. Until the day I began studying these principles. Until the day I truly understood that what I felt and repeatedly thought was creating my life experience. It was like turning on a light in a dark room. Imagine your mind as a radio. If you want to listen to a classical music station, but are tuned to a rock frequency, yelling at the radio won't help. You need to change the station. It's the same with your life. Repeating positive affirmations won't work if you are vibrating negativity all the time. Visualizing hope won't work if your dominant feeling is distrust. What are you vibrating right now? Pause for a moment. What are you feeling right now at this very second? Worry about tomorrow, fear of losing your job, anxiety over a bill due? That is a frequency, and the universe responds to it with surgical precision. Here is a scientific fact. Studies from Harvard University revealed that emotions such as gratitude and optimism significantly increase brain activity in areas related to creativity, problem-solving, and physical well-being. In other words, when you change how you feel, you literally change how your brain functions, which affects your decisions, your attitudes, and your outcomes. Many people ask me, Bob, how do I change my vibration if everything around me is pulling me down? The answer is simple but powerful. You must decide to take control of your frequency, because your frequency is your responsibility. Start with small steps. Wake up and before checking your phone, take a deep breath and think of 3 things you are grateful for. Feel that gratitude. It's not enough to just think it. You need to feel it. This activates the vibrational process. Then visualize your day unfolding in the best way. Feel light, feeling in control. Do this for 7 days. Watch how things around you begin to respond differently. The right people start to appear. An old problem finds a solution. A path you hadn't seen before reveals itself. This is not magic. It is energy in motion. Now you might be thinking, Bob, this sounds too good to be true. I understand. I used to think that way too. After all, I was raised in an environment that believed life was struggle, sacrifice, limitation. But that was just a collective frequency. When I changed my vibration, I left that field and entered another. Have you heard of Andrew Carnegie? He was one of the richest men in modern history, but few know that he said it all began when he changed his mental state, his inner frequency. He started seeing opportunity where before he saw crisis. He felt prosperity even while still living in scarcity. The result? He built an empire. Can you see the connection? Does it make sense to you? Because if you feel it, then you have already begun to change. You can change your life, yes, but not by starting from the outside. Start from within. You need to stop living as if the world is a reflection of circumstances. The world is a mirror of your frequency. Be honest with yourself now. How many times have you doubted yourself just because things weren't going well? How many times did you think you were not good enough, smart enough, or lucky enough? All these are signs of the frequency you are operating on, and if you are still here with me listening, it means something inside you has already begun to change. Maybe you don't realize it, but you are feeling something different, aren't you? That is the start of the vibration shift. And when you change the vibration, life changes with you. You need to understand something almost nobody tells you. The world you see around you is not the real world. It is only a reflection of what you have created inside you. Your outer reality is like a photograph, a picture developed from a negative that was recorded in your inner world. The problem is, most people try to change the photo by tearing it, painting over it, or sticking stickers, when the true power lies in changing the negative, and the negative is your mind. Most people live trapped in the illusion of the five senses. They only believe what they see, hear, or touch. But what is outside has already been created. It is done. You cannot change what is already imprinted in the physical world, but you can and must change what will be imprinted. And that only happens when you learn to create from within, not from what you observe. Do you know that moment when you look at your bank account and feel a tightness in your chest? When you see an amount you wish you didn't, and immediately think, my life is stuck, or it will never change? Well, you just reinforce the frequency of scarcity, because what you see on your bank statement is not a cause, it's an effect. It is the echo of a vibration you have held for days, weeks, perhaps even years. The real game happens before that, before the number appears, before the situation manifests. It takes place in the invisible realm, in thought, in feeling, and that is where you need to operate. Now answer me honestly. How many times have you dreamed of something big but found yourself trying to imagine how it could happen, and when you couldn't see the logical path, you gave up? Maybe you even told yourself, it's not for me, or it's too big a dream. This happens because from childhood you were conditioned to only believe what you can prove, to only trust what you have seen happen to others. But the creative mind doesn't work that way. It doesn't need to see to believe. It believes, and because of that it begins to see. I often say, if you can see clearly in your mind, if you can feel deeply in your heart, then you can live with certainty in your reality. But you have to maintain that image. You have to protect it like someone protecting a flame lit in the wind, because if you don't hold that image with emotional strength, it will go out. And then the old pattern returns. I remember exactly the day I first had the image of my studio. I was in the backyard on an ordinary day, drinking coffee. Suddenly the idea came. A space where I could teach what I believed in, with structure, cameras, professional sound. I saw it clearly in my mind, even when it made no sense at all. I didn't have the resources, I didn't have the team, I had nothing. But I had the image, and I held that image every day. Today, that studio exists. It is the place where I speak to the world. And do you know why? Because I refuse to let the lack of proof erase the presence of the vision. Steve Jobs said something powerful. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. And that is true. Today, looking back, I understand every step, but at the time, nothing made logical sense. I just followed the image. You know what is most sad? Most people give up on what they want because no one ever taught them that the invisible is stronger than the visible. That what you create with your imagination, when supported with feeling, becomes as real as any object around you. Have you noticed that when you are excited about a dream, ideas flow? Coincidences happen? Someone calls with an unexpected offer? That is vibrational creation manifesting. But the opposite is also true. When you let what you see, bills, crises, fears, take over your mind, ideas freeze, and the world seems to shrink. You enter the cycle of more of the same. You begin repeating yesterday in different clothes but with the same script. It is like an emotional thermostat. If you are set to survival mode, you will only attract situations that reinforce that mode. Now, if you set yourself to creation mode, you begin to tune into a different universe of possibilities. But this requires decision. You must consciously choose to ignore the appearance of circumstances and focus on the image of what you want. As Einstein said, match the frequency of the reality you want and you will have it. This is not philosophy. This is physics. This is science. The quantum field responds to your emotional frequency. And do you know what science has also proven? That the human brain is malleable and can be reshaped through visualization and emotion. It begins to create new neural connections. This means you can literally teach your brain to live a reality that does not yet exist, and it will believe it. When it believes, it starts generating behaviors, decisions, and paths that make that reality inevitable. Now tell me, are you creating or just reacting? Are you looking at what is or what could be? Are you living as a passive observer of life or as an active creator of your reality? You already have everything you need to change. You just need to learn how to use it. The tool is the image, the power is the feeling, the bridge is the vibration, and the decision is yours. You may know exactly what you need to do, have read the right books, watched every motivational video possible, yet still feel stuck in the same place. Have you ever felt that something invisible is pulling you back, as if there is a force blocking your achievements without you knowing exactly why? That force has a name. It is called paradigm. The paradigm is like an autopilot that controls your life. It is a set of beliefs and mental patterns deeply rooted in your subconscious that dictate how you think, feel, act, and react. Even when consciously you want to change, if your paradigm does not change along with you, nothing really changes. This is not a theory. It is the foundation of everything I have studied in the last 60 years. The paradigm is the program running in the background, and you live what it determines, not what you desire. Have you ever wondered why so many intelligent, talented, hard-working people keep spinning their wheels? Why someone with all the conditions to thrive remains broke, in debt, or in jobs they hate? Because they have paradigms installed that do not allow them to go beyond certain limits. These limits are not real. They are just old programs inherited from childhood, society, school, and family. I myself lived this. When I started earning more money, something inside me began sabotaging my results. At first, I did not understand. I thought, how can I be earning so much but feel stuck, confused, insecure? It was only when I understood the power of the paradigm that I realized there was an old program saying, you don't deserve this. You are not good enough. You don't have education, so it's luck, it won't last. And do you know what happened? My results started to fall until I changed my paradigm. Changing the paradigm is like rewriting the code of your mind. The only way to do this is through conscious repetition of new thoughts, images, and feelings. You must imprint a new truth into your subconscious, because your subconscious cannot differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. It only accepts what is repeated with emotion. Here is the most important point. The paradigm is directly linked to your vibration. It determines the frequency at which you operate. And because the law of attraction responds to frequency, it does not bring you what you want, but what you are, what you constantly vibrate, what your paradigm allows you to attract. That is why you can spend years trying to change your life externally, but everything returns to the starting point. You move city, change jobs, change relationships, and end up repeating the same problems with new people in new places. What needs to change is not out there. It is inside you. Now reflect with me. How many times have you tried something new, and even though you were excited at first, soon thoughts like, this is too hard, I don't have time, I lack support, took over? Have you noticed how the same excuses always appear? No matter the challenge, the same inner voices come back. That is the paradigm in action. If you don't question it, you obey. And if you obey it, you reinforce the programming. I want you to understand that it's not your fault to have these paradigms. You didn't choose to believe money is hard, that success is for a few, or that you have to work hard all your life to maybe one day be happy. You were programmed that way. Since childhood, hearing phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees, and born poor, die poor, life is hard, that's for rich people. And those phrases became codes in your operating system. But now that you know, it's your responsibility to change, because no one else can do it for you. And see how curious. Do you know someone who seems to have everything? Intelligence, connections, degrees, health, yet still lives in chaos? Have you heard of MC Hammer? He earned more than $30 million at the peak of his career and lost it all. Not for lack of ability, but because his money paradigm wasn't set to keep abundance. What comes too fast for an unprepared paradigm escapes at the same speed. This happens every day, and it's not luck, it's programming. On the other hand, have you noticed how some people prosper even starting from nothing? Because they have different paradigms. They were taught to think differently about themselves, what they deserve and what's possible. But you don't have to be born in such an environment to succeed. You can reprogram your mind now, starting today. Here is an exercise that may seem simple but transforms lives. For the next 7 days, write every day by hand on paper. I am so happy and grateful now that I attract opportunities aligned with my new success identity. Write this 10 times daily. But don't just write it, feel it. Imagine it as if it were already true. Do this for 7 days. Make it a commitment to yourself. Because the subconscious learns through repetition, and this is how you start installing a new paradigm. You must understand that nothing changes from outside in. Real change starts within, in silence, repetition, and the image you hold firmly even when everything around says otherwise. And that is where you start attracting new people, new ideas, new situations, because your vibration changed, and the universe responds precisely to what you have become. You no longer need to feel like a victim of circumstances. You only need to start reprogramming the source that creates those circumstances, your paradigm, because in the end, you don't live what you want. You live what you were programmed for. Have you ever had a dream so clear and intense you could almost touch it? Have you pictured the perfect home, your dream career, or a trip that makes your heart race, and for a moment believed it was possible? But then an inner voice started whispering, it's not realistic, and now what if it doesn't work and you can't have that? That voice is what separates desire from manifestation, because wishing isn't enough. You must sustain the vibration of what you want, even when the outside world seems to say otherwise. Hold on when you wake up feeling tired, when bills arrive, when doubts try to sneak in, because it is precisely at that moment the universe tests if you are prepared to receive what you have asked for. You do not attract what you briefly imagine. You attract what you can consistently feel as yours every single day. And here is the interesting part. It is not a lack of ability that stops people from achieving their dreams. It is a lack of vibrational consistency. They begin with enthusiasm, form a picture, even visualize, but they cannot hold that state long enough. They give up emotionally before reality has time to respond. Have you ever heard someone say, I tried thinking positively, made affirmations, but it didn't work? Of course it didn't work, because what creates is not the phrase itself. It is the inner state sustained with emotion and repetition. It is not the spoken word that manifests, but the vibration it carries. This requires practice and full involvement. You must live your dream inside before it appears outside. If you think this is just self-help talk, let me share a true story. My brother-in-law in his early 50s had spent his entire life working for others. He had built 3 businesses for other people. When the chance to buy a business for himself came, he was terrified. Was it too late? Was it too risky? He had a family and responsibilities, but even scared and unsure how it would turn out, he chose to follow his feelings. He and my sister mortgaged their house, took loans, risked everything. And do you know what happened? Today they are millionaires. The business keeps growing under the hands of their son and grandson. They only succeeded because they maintained the dream's vibration long enough, even when fear tried to take over. Most do not hold on, because we are taught to doubt, question too much, and think if we do not see it, it is not real. But Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge, and he was not joking. What you imagine with feeling, what you keep alive inside you begins to arrange itself in your reality. The problem is we live in a society that honors the immediate. If it doesn't show up soon, we give up. You start sending contradictory signals to the universe. I want this once, but then think maybe it won't happen. The universe answers with confusion, stagnation, blockage. You must align your thoughts, emotions, and actions all on the same frequency. This is vibrational coherence, more powerful than any strategy. Have you noticed how some athletes, artists, or entrepreneurs seem to have a special magnetism? Because they live in a state of strong conviction about who they are and their purpose, the world reorganizes around them. Roger Bannister is an example. For decades, doctors said it was physically impossible to run a mile in less than 4 minutes. It was considered a human limit. But Bannister did not believe that. He trained, visualized, and believed. On the day he broke the 4-minute barrier, within months, others did as well. What changed? The collective vibration was broken. A new state of consciousness was accessed, opening the way for others. When you sustain a higher vibrational state, you don't just change your life, you change the field around you. You inspire, you pull others along. You become a reference without even needing to say a word. Your energy speaks on your behalf. Now answer honestly. How long can you keep the feeling of your dream alive inside you before fear slips in? 1 day? A few hours? Half an hour? This is the difference between dreaming and manifesting. It does not need to be perfect. There will be days when fear knocks, when doubt appears. But if you return, if you come back to the image, if you reconnect to the feeling of your desire, you keep creating stronger and stronger. You have everything you need. You only need to decide to keep alive what you want, no matter how long it takes, even if nobody believes, even if it has not yet appeared. The question you must ask is not, will it happen? But, am I ready to sustain this day after day with all my heart until it happens? Because when you sustain the right vibration, you do not have to chase your dream, it finds you. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you live. Your vibration is your energetic address in the universe, and everything that comes to you comes because it found that address. Change your frequency, and everything around you begins to rearrange. If this message made sense to you, if it awakened something inside, then the next step is inevitable. The video you see now is where you will climb another rung on the ladder of consciousness. There you will continue this process of transformation and become at least 1% better than you are now. And that 1% makes all the difference. Thank you very much for staying with me until here. I will wait for you in the next video. Let us continue growing together. Most people believe that merely wishing for something is enough to attract it into their lives. They make lists, write goals, put positive phrases on the fridge, but they still feel anxiety, insecurity, doubt, and that is where everything falls apart. Because it is not what you want that matters, but what you vibrate. You can want a mansion, but if inside you carry the fear of missing the rent at the end of the month, guess what the universe will give you? It will return exactly what is in harmony with your frequency. More fear, more pressure, more scarcity. The universe does not speak English, Portuguese, or French. It responds to vibrational frequencies. It is precise, it is exact. It returns what you emit. I learned this the hard way. In 1961, I was broke, in debt. Without any formal education, I wanted a better life, of course. But deep inside, what I felt every day was incapacity and doubt. I compared myself with others and thought I would never make it. And guess what? I did not make it. Until one day I understood emotion is the fuel of attraction. When you feel something intensely, the universe understands it as a command. It does not separate reality from imagination. It only responds. Want to know how I changed this? I started feeling differently. I had nothing but forced myself to imagine what it would be like to have. More than that, I began to feel emotional with that vision, smile at it, thank it, and dress as if I had already achieved it. Over time, my vibration changed. And when the vibration changes, results begin moving in your direction. Now look at your life and be honest with me. When it comes to money, what do you feel? Do you feel lightness? Or do you feel that pit in your stomach when the card is charged and you do not know if it will be approved? Do you feel worthy of wealth? Or deep down, do you think rich people are greedy and you are too good to care? These beliefs reside deep within your subconscious mind. It is this part of you that controls the entire game. You may repeat positive affirmations, I am wealthy, I am prosperous, but if deep inside you still feel ashamed to want more, you are in vibrational conflict. It's like pressing the accelerator while your brake is engaged. Now listen to this. The American Psychological Association published a study revealing that money is the leading cause of stress for over 72% of people. What does this mean? That most of the world is vibrating scarcity. And do you know what scarcity attracts? More scarcity. This is not opinion, it is fact. And it is vibration. Want a real example of how wrong vibration ruins everything? Mike Tyson, one of the greatest boxers in history. He earned hundreds of millions of pounds, but lost it all, every single penny, because his vibration was filled with internal conflict, anger, and impulsiveness. The money came in, but did not stay. External things never last when the internal is out of harmony. You must understand that change starts within. And it begins with what you feel every single day. Emotion is the thermometer of your vibration. You know when you feel good. You know when you feel bad. You do not need anyone to tell you. Your body feels it. Your mind knows it. And let me tell you something powerful. Your subconscious does not know truth from falsehood. It accepts as real whatever you feel with intensity. So if you imagine a life of abundance with genuine emotion, with true gratitude, your subconscious will absorb it as real. And it will start adjusting your vibration. It will change your thoughts, your habits, your attitude, and as a result, it will change what you attract. I know it sounds too simple to be true, but that is exactly the beauty of it. It is simple, not easy, but simple. You just need to persist in the right emotion, the right image you must create in the invisible world before you see it in the visible. Everything that exists today, this chair, this phone, this building, all started in someone's mind. It began as a mental image filled with feeling. When you understand this, you stop worrying about the how. The how is not your problem. It is the universe's problem. Your job is to decide the what and keep its vibration alive inside you every day. I know you have desired many things and saw no results, but now you understand why. Because you desired with your mind but felt with fear. You imagined with your eyes closed but filled yourself with doubt inside. From today, do it differently. Imagine, feel, live inside as if it is already true.